Folks, there was blood in the streets today with the earnings reports, and there's potential of a crash coming up. So let's go ahead and break it down. And actually, I'm now looking at my Discord app, and it is completely down. All right, let's see how well the memory holds up today. So Zillow sold off in the after hours, then kind of had a big rebound, then sold off again. They missed. They had to ditch their buying program, their house buying program. They were expecting to make about $94 million off of that, maybe a little bit more than that actually. And then they actually ended up having about a $105 million loss from the endeavor, and said that they would never return back to home buying, which I thought was actually a little bit melodramatic. It was clear, though, they bit off more than they could chew. They're going to let go 25% of their workforce because of their silly endeavor. So they're going to have to learn the hard way that was really dumb. I mean, they already did. And they're going to have to eat it for a little bit. That said, though, when you look at how much money this company actually makes, that's only really affecting 1/16 of their revenue. So it's not really that big of a deal, right? In the long term. If they can't handle that, maybe eventually they can return to it. I will say I was kind of looking into the management team because management's got to be pretty weak to screw things up as bad as they have. Funny enough, the guy who founded Zillow is the same guy that founded, and this is why I wish Discord wasn't down, Expedia. And then he founded another photo sharing company, photo advertising company. One of his companies that he founded bought another company that he founded. And then he ended up starting a competitor that ended up putting them both out of, stealing business away from both of them. This guy is finding bags and bags that are full of bags. It's like the CEO of WeWork is jealous at this point. It is ridiculous. Okay, and then there's mixed reports in the Discord. I thought there was a potential for Roku to have earnings. Looks like that's tomorrow, although the stock did get a lot of attention. We're still seeing that rally of volume into the close. Docs had a nice recovery. We're still down a bit. Volatility is pretty normal. Lots of weak bag holders on this. So Lyft really surprised though, and we're seeing a bunch of movement in the after hours. And I was really digging into this one because I was really curious. I wanted to know the self-driving. They have a self-driving partnership, and their self-driving partnership is with a Toyota subsidiary. This is why I wish the Discord was working. Called Hover. Yeah. It's something stupid. And I went through the website, and the website made me so annoyed. I have such a low tolerance for corporate language at this point. It's overwhelmingly positive, innovation, tech, blah, just whatever key, buzzy, fancy words they could find. It's like I could read through pages and pages and pages and find absolutely nothing of substance at all. It is crazy. So anyways, I hate their partner. It's just LiDAR. They're working with a LiDAR, self-driving LiDAR. And LiDAR has all sorts of limitations that it will never get over. And the key to fixing that is what Tesla's doing, which is the long haul. And they think it could be a long time before they fix it. That's what everyone says. But that's what everyone's been saying about Tesla since forever. So, give that whatever attention is due. Just sometimes people are a little overly negative, and I'm always going to believe the wild dreamer who tells me he can get it done, even if it takes him longer than he says, Yeah, that's what always works out. You give them enough money, they'll figure it out. And they have enough drive, they'll figure it out. Activision sold off. Oh, so that's just one thing about Lyft. And I don't like them. I like the Tesla method better. Yes, they're doing better. They guided upwards. I still not sure. You had this weird effect where the more drivers they have, it'll match the demand. Then the less that each driver makes, then the less that they'll want to do it. And then you also had the added effect of, will they be able to raise the wages for the drivers fast enough to keep up with the incoming gas prices that might occur because of the energy shortage that could come around at the end of the year, and even persist for a few years, because it's looking like it'd be about 2 years before the supply shortages actually get resolved. Okay, so then let's move on. So they did well. I'm still sitting on Uber. I'm still shorting Uber, which seems to have gotten a sentiment come up too. So I might hurt a little bit on that, but I'm gonna hold those. Lyft doesn't bleed as much as Uber. All right, moving on. Activision sold off. Looks like we got a bit of a rally at first, actually, but they actually lowered guidance more than we expected. I was kind of wondering about this. Lots of people were saying that China wasn't actually going to be able to keep the kids from gaming. And that's a big deal because most of Activision's money comes from China, because that's where a lot of their gamers are, right? So it turns out that it's a bit of a mixed bag, because they're doing good in the U.S., but they were really fuzzy on stuff with China, which I'm going to assume means that it's not so hot. Looks like market had about the same estimation of it. I didn't get to dig into the numbers of that, so it's not as fresh for me, because earnings call was a little bit later than it went and worked out. And if there's anything else to add, I'll put it in the Discord. But looking like there was a sell-off. We were shorting the stock into the earnings, so that one should play out really well. It actually should play out a lot better than the bleed on Uber, which is cool. And we also were short on Zillow, so that will also play out a little bit as well. So market could be a crash. Yeah, the Federal Reserve has put themselves in a weird position, and we have a very high risk of like another December 2018 taper tantrum. Is very likely. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. If they decide with the market there's a few things, because when supplies are stuck at the harbors, because that's what's occurring, right? There's all this supply shortage issues. When that occurs, these companies actually make more money because they get to pay all these late fees. They get to charge all these late fees, which actually means they make more money and do nothing. So there's this short time period where they actually benefit from things being delayed to reach them. And the companies don't really suffer because insurance companies cover it. So I guess they're the only ones that really suffer, but they're insurance companies. They don't really hurt that bad ever. So there's that interesting relationship that might make the Fed think that the market's okay with the situation, but I still believe that the debt, the amount of corporate debt we have, is a much greater issue than the actual interest rates. Because understand that when they end tapering, they stop the buying of debt products, like bonds. And I think that is more of an issue than actually just straight up raising interest rates. I think that's why December 2018 occurred. I think they are making a mistake. I think they're moving too quick. It's starting to look like, just the data that's flowing in says like hold the brakes, but the Biden administration actually keeps doing the opposite of what they probably should be doing. And so it looks like, if they get their act together, it's a minimum of 2 years to fix the incoming energy crisis and supply chain issues, if they get it in gear. Now, I still hold some faith that the free market will do what free markets do. Elon's building batteries the size of buses. Maybe we find a short-term solution that helps delay our problems. Very obviously, I also want to make a point of this so that everyone can be more well-informed. Nuclear energy is the solution to this. If any of these people in government actually cared or actually did their research, they would know that it was safer and more efficacious than any of the other clean energy sources and would lead to a stronger infrastructure that could be more prolonged for future generations, okay? All the other solutions that they have are temporary, short-term, nonsensical. They don't work. We know they don't work. That's why Europe's in so much trouble. That's why China is having to go back to coal. Actually, a lot of European countries are also having to go back to more coal, because these things are not conducive to a strong infrastructure, okay? Nuclear energy would be the way to go, but it takes 10 years to build a plant and 10 years to even get a new uranium mine. And it takes 2 years to move it anywhere. So there's supply chain issues now. You don't even want to imagine how hard it is to move uranium, okay? And a lot of these contracts for uranium are actually going to be renewing this month. And remember, we also have that election going on for Japan. And if the delegate that is, there's a 50% chance that we get someone who's like super bullish on uranium and wants to start using nuclear energy again. which, by the way, already produces most of the clean energy, despite being so underutilized and so efficient. So efficient. So Fed might make up, cause the market to crash, and uranium's clean energy. Activision sold off. Lyft is looking bullish, but I'm speculative. Zillow sold off. We're going to see Roku tomorrow. We like Doc still. We like Snapchat still. Keeping an eye on CRISPR. I think they could do well. The Bitcoin and the miners, we'll do an episode of spacing out right after this and get into those. This has been No Gloves. In the comments down below, let me know what you think of the name of this. Should this just be the Nobel Show, or should we keep the No Gloves? Let me know. And also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Check us out on Twitter. And on future episodes, I'm going to really try to be more exact with the numbers. I know I did some guesstimations. I might have gotten something wrong. I think I was relatively close on most things that I spoke on. Having some technical issues. I don't want to redo the episode in the future. I'll try to make sure that I get that resolved before I start the episode. Okay, you get it. All right, bye.